The first thing I need you to understand is this: nothing kills attraction faster than desperation. When you walk into a room, or even when you sit across from a woman on that very first meeting, she's not just noticing your words, your clothes, or your smile. She's tuning into your energy. And trust me, energy never lies. If you're carrying that vibe of neediness, like you're begging for attention or trying to prove your worth, it comes across immediately. But when you walk in with confidence, calm, grounded, unshaken confidence, something shifts in the air. People notice, she notices, and suddenly she's leaning in, not pulling away. Now, let's be clear about what confidence really is, because a lot of people confuse it with arrogance or pretending to be someone you're not. Confidence isn't about being loud, showing off, or trying to dominate every conversation. That's insecurity wearing a mask. Real confidence is quieter. It's steadier. It's knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and not needing to beg anyone else to validate it. When you know that, when you really carry that truth inside, you stop chasing approval. And the very moment you stop chasing, that's when people start running toward you. Think about it. When you're desperate, every move you make says, "Please like me. Please give me attention." It's like walking around with a neon sign above your head that flashes insecurity. But when you're confident, your presence says, "I'm good with or without your approval. I don't need you, but I'd love to share my time with you." That's magnetic. That's the kind of energy that makes someone curious, that makes her want to find out more about you. Because confidence doesn't scream, confidence whispers. And whispers are powerful because people lean in to hear them. Let me give you an example. Imagine two men in the same room. One is dressed sharp, but he's trying too hard, talking over people, bragging about things no one asked about, laughing louder than necessary. He's thinking that if he makes himself big enough, people will finally notice him. But what actually happens? Everyone sees right through it. He becomes background noise, the kind of energy people quietly move away from. Now picture the second man. He's not saying much, but when he does speak, he looks people in the eye. His voice is steady, and he's comfortable with silence. He's not rushing to fill the space, not trying to sell himself, just being present. Who do you think she's going to be drawn to? The one who needs attention, or the one who doesn't care if he gets it? Exactly. Here's the secret: confidence isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about not comparing yourself to anyone else in the first place. When you can sit across from her and truly enjoy the moment without obsessing about whether she likes you, that's when she starts to like you. When you can hold eye contact without flinching, when you can listen without interrupting, when you can laugh at yourself without embarrassment. That's confidence. And it's rare. It's rare because too many people are caught up in performing, in pretending, in trying to fit into some idea of what they think will impress. But performance eventually collapses. Authentic confidence lasts. Confidence also shows in the way you carry yourself physically. Stand tall, shoulders back, breathe deeply, slow down your movements. Don't rush. People who feel rushed are telling the world they're not in control. People who move with ease, who pause, who let silence hang for a moment, they radiate authority, and women pick up on that instantly. Attraction isn't just about what you say, it's about how you exist in the space you're in. So practice being comfortable in your own skin. That's the work that pays off. And here's another truth. Confidence doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to be the richest, the best looking, or the most successful person in the room to be attractive. Confidence is embracing your imperfections and owning them. Maybe you stumble on your words. Maybe you're not the tallest guy. Maybe your car isn't the newest. But if you can carry yourself like none of those things diminish your value, suddenly none of them do. In fact, they start to work for you because nothing is sexier than someone who's completely comfortable with who they are. So the next time you find yourself on that first date, or in that first conversation, remember this: it's not about what lines you use. It's not about trying to prove yourself. It's about being steady in who you are. If you can walk into that room with calm assurance, if you can sit across from her and be fully present without begging for her approval, you've already won half the battle. Because confidence is the key that unlocks attraction. And when you carry it naturally, she doesn't just notice it, she feels it. And that feeling is unforgettable. If confidence is what gets her attention, then connection is what keeps it. Because let's be honest, physical attraction might spark interest, but without an emotional bond, That spark dies out faster than you think. What makes a woman want to spend more time with you? What makes her feel safe enough and intrigued enough to let things move forward quickly is the depth of connection you create right from the start. And connection doesn't take years to build. It can happen in minutes if you know how to tune in the right way. The first thing you need to realize is that people don't remember most of what you say. What they do remember is how you made them feel. You could have the smoothest lines in the world, but if those words don't make her feel understood, valued, and seen, then they don't matter. But if in just a short conversation you can make her feel like she's the only person in the room, that's when magic happens. That's when she starts thinking, I want to spend more time with this person. I feel good around them. And when she feels good around you, doors open. So how do you create that connection? It starts with listening. Not the kind of listening where you're just waiting for your turn to speak, but real listening. Listen to her words, yes, but also to the tone. The pauses, the things she doesn't say out loud. Pay attention to the small details. What excites her? What makes her laugh? What softens her voice? When you can pick up on those cues and respond in a way that shows you noticed, it tells her you're not just hearing her, you're understanding her. That's rare, and rare gets remembered. Eye contact is another powerful part of connection. I'm not talking about staring until it gets weird, but holding her gaze long enough that she feels your presence. When you look at someone with steady eyes, you're saying, I see you. I'm here with you. And believe me, that alone can make her feel a deeper bond with you. Most people glance around, distracted by their phone, the waiter, or their own thoughts. But when you can anchor your attention fully on her, even if it's just for a few moments, it creates intensity. It creates intimacy. Another part of connection is mirroring. Not in a fake, calculated way, but naturally picking up on her energy and matching it. If she's speaking softly, lower your tone just a little. If she's excited and expressive, meet her with that same enthusiasm. Humans are wired to feel closer to people who reflect them. When you subtly mirror her rhythm and body language, she feels aligned with you, like you're on the same frequency. And that sense of alignment builds trust faster than you realize. Now, here's the most overlooked piece: vulnerability. Most men think they have to keep a hard shell up to impress, that showing anything real will make them look weak. But the opposite is true. When you let yourself share something genuine, whether it's a personal story, a lesson you learned the hard way, or even admitting something small that embarrassed you, it tells her you're human. It tells her you're not hiding behind an act. And when you open up just a little, it gives her permission to do the same. That's where real connection lies, in that shared space of authenticity. Remember, creating connection isn't about proving yourself, it's about giving her the space to feel safe enough to be herself. Ask questions that go deeper than small talk. Don't just ask, what do you do? Ask what she loves about it, what she dreams about, what she'd do if there were no limits. Show curiosity about her world. When you bring out her passions, when you get her talking about what lights her up, she'll start associating that energy with you. And that's powerful, because people are drawn to the ones who make them feel most alive. And don't forget humor. Laughter is one of the fastest ways to create intimacy, because it breaks down walls instantly. If you can laugh together, even over something small, you create a bond that feels natural and unforced. Shared laughter says, we get each other. And once she feels that, she's far more open to deepening the connection in every way. So understand this: emotional connection isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about presence, curiosity, and authenticity. When she feels seen, heard, and understood, when she feels that spark of shared energy, the path forward opens naturally. Attraction without connection fizzles out. But attraction fueled by connection, that's the kind that accelerates everything. And that's when one night can change everything. Respect is the piece that so many people overlook, yet it's the one that changes everything. You see, attraction without respect is shallow, and it doesn't last. You might spark her curiosity for a moment, but if she feels like you don't value her as a person, if she senses that all you're focused on is what you can get, that flame dies out instantly. But when you show respect, genuine respect, it doesn't kill attraction like some people think. It multiplies it. It makes her feel safe enough to let go of her guard, and it builds the kind of trust that allows intimacy to happen naturally. Let me tell you something most men don't realize. Women can feel in seconds whether you see them as a person or just as an object. And that distinction matters more than you know. Because when a woman feels objectified, when she feels like you're treating her like some prize you're trying to win, she withdraws. Even if she's smiling on the surface, inside she's already pulling away. But when she feels respected, when you look at her not just with desire but with recognition of her worth, suddenly the walls start coming down. She feels like she can relax around you, and that relaxation is what allows chemistry to grow. Respect shows up in the smallest moments. It's in how you listen to her without cutting her off. It's in how you treat the people around you. The waiter, the bartender, the stranger who bumps into you. She's watching those things not because she's judging you for perfection, but because those little moments reveal who you really are. If you can show respect in the ordinary, everyday ways, then she knows she can trust you in the more intimate, vulnerable ones. That's what sets you apart. Now, let me clear something up. Respect doesn't mean putting her on a pedestal or worshiping her every move. That's not attractive. It's suffocating. Respect means recognizing her boundaries, listening when she says no, and not trying to push her past her comfort zone. It's giving her the freedom to choose, and in that freedom, she feels more drawn to choose you. Think about that for a second. The more you try to pressure someone, the more they resist. But when you step back and show that you're confident enough to let her decide, that's when she starts moving closer. Respect creates space, and space creates desire. Respect also means honesty. If you're not interested in something serious, be upfront about it. If you're looking for a relationship, say that too. Playing games, leading her on, or pretending to want one thing while chasing another. That's disrespect at its core. And while some men think that kind of manipulation will get them further, it always backfires. Why? Because eventually the truth comes out, and nothing kills attraction faster than betrayal. But when you're honest, even about what you're not, she respects that. And that respect feeds attraction. Here's the irony: many men believe that showing respect will make them seem too nice, too safe, like they'll be put in the friend zone. But the truth is, respect doesn't put you in the friend zone. Timidity does. When you combine confidence, connection, and respect, you don't come across as weak. You come across as powerful. You come across as the kind of man she can trust, and trust is what allows her to open up, both emotionally and physically. So let's make this real. Imagine you're out with her and she's enjoying herself, but then she says she's not ready to go further tonight. If you argue, pressure, or sulk, you've just destroyed everything you built. But if you smile, tell her you respect that, and still enjoy the rest of the evening, something shifts inside her. She sees that you're not just after one thing, that you actually respect her boundaries, and that makes her feel even more comfortable with you. And often, that comfort is what leads her to change her mind sooner than you expect. Because respect doesn't slow things down, it accelerates them, but in a way that feels natural and genuine. So understand this: respect is not weakness. It's not playing the nice guy who gets ignored. Respect is strength. It's the quiet power of knowing that you don't need to force or manipulate anything to get what you want. It's the assurance that when things move forward, they move forward because both of you chose it freely. And that kind of choice is far more powerful than anything you could ever try to pressure into happening. And when respect is present, desire follows. The final piece to this puzzle is authenticity, and I can't stress this enough. Nothing destroys attraction faster than pretense. You can memorize every line in the book. You can copy someone else's style. You can even pretend to be more successful or more interesting than you really are. But sooner or later, the truth comes out. And when it does, all the trust, all the attraction, everything you built comes crashing down. But when you show up as yourself, unapologetically and fully, you don't just build attraction, you build something that lasts. See, authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. Too many people think they need to create some performance in order to impress. They put on a mask. They hide behind a version of themselves they think the other person will like, and in doing so they lose the very thing that makes them unique. But the irony is, people don't fall for the act, they fall for the real person underneath it. And if you never show her that person, then you've robbed her of the chance to feel something genuine with you. When you're authentic, you communicate a deep, unshakable confidence in who you are. You're basically saying, this is me. Take it or leave it. And that energy is magnetic because it frees her up to be real with you too. If you're putting on a show, she feels pressure to perform as well. But if you drop the act, she drops hers. That's when walls fall down. And that's when connection happens faster than you'd ever expect. Authenticity also has this raw edge to it. It's vulnerable. It's admitting when you don't know something instead of pretending you do. It's being able to laugh at yourself when you stumble over your words. It's sharing a story that shows you've struggled, failed, learned, and grown. And that kind of vulnerability is powerful because it doesn't come from weakness. It comes from strength. Weakness hides. Strength reveals. And when you're strong enough to be real, she can feel it. Think about it. If you sit across from her and you're reciting some line you pulled from the internet, she knows it. If you're trying to act like you've got more money, more status, more experience than you really do, she knows it. Maybe she doesn't call you out on it, but deep down, she feels it. And the moment she feels you're not being real, trust slips away. Attraction without trust doesn't go far. But if you sit across from her and you own your story, your flaws, your dreams, even your awkward moments, then she knows you're someone who's grounded in truth. And truth, my friend, is irresistible. Authenticity also means being consistent. If you say one thing and do another, if you're different in private than you are in public, people pick up on that inconsistency. And inconsistency feels unsafe. But when your words and your actions match, when who you are on the surface matches who you are underneath, she feels safe with you. And safety is the foundation of attraction. Without it, things might start fast, but they'll end even faster. With it, things not only move forward, they deepen. And let's not forget the joy that comes with being authentic. Pretending is exhausting. Putting on a mask drains you. But when you're just yourself, you're free. You don't have to remember the act. You don't have to hide. You don't have to constantly adjust to someone else's expectations. That freedom makes you relaxed, and that relaxed energy is incredibly attractive. She feels it. She wants to be around it, because when you're at ease, you put her at ease too. Now, authenticity doesn't mean oversharing or spilling your entire life story in the first 10 minutes. It's not about unloading everything. It's about being genuine in the moment. If you're excited, show it. If you're nervous, don't be afraid to admit it. If you're passionate about something, talk about it with that fire in your voice. Those moments of honesty are what draw people in. They cut through the noise of small talk and create something real. So understand this: authenticity is your greatest strength. Not your job title, not your bank account, not the car you drive or the clothes you wear. None of those things create real attraction. What does is the courage to show up exactly as you are without apology. And when you do that, she doesn't just see you, she feels you. And once she feels that, she won't forget it. Because authenticity is the one thing no one can fake and the one thing everyone craves.